And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to the Dice Tower. Today we're taking a look at Lanterns Dice. Now this is an interesting game for me to review in one sense because I've actually never played Lanterns from Renegade. I know it's a really great gateway game from what everyone tells me. It just hasn't ever crossed my path. This is a dice game based on it. This is what we call a roll and write, where you're going to roll dice and then write things down. It has a theme of lantern pools and fireworks, which is really cool, but the theme doesn't really have anything to do with the game. You're just going to roll dice and fill things in, trying to score the most points. Also Tetris. What am I talking about? Let's take a look. There are 8 different shapes that you can use in the game, and you're going to use 4 of them, and you can, it kind of encourages you to pick some that are different sizes so you don't have all small or all large. Once you take them, you're going to put these piles out with the highest number on the top. They go down in value, and then, just descending in value, and everyone's going to use these over the course of the game. Each player is also going to be given a sheet here. These are mostly identical, except this turn bonus over here is slightly different. So you'll see A, B, C, and D, and there are different turn bonuses. But other than that, the board itself is the same. There's also 3 Emperor cards that are going to be placed. They have 2 different sides, so you can use A or B side. And then there's going to be some dice with a dice tray here. Players are going to go a certain amount of turns, and those turns are marked here. So the more players, you'll see there's different bonuses for various turns. So if you're playing 2 to 4, you're going to use all these bonuses here. If you're playing with just 2, you'll have even more down there, or you're basically using all these. So on your turn, you're going to roll the dice into the tray. Now, as you roll these dice into the tray, you'll notice they fit there in the bottom. You can re-roll if you want to. You don't have to keep the different things. You can re-roll by spending a gift. Players have 1 gift to start the game, and they can get more over the course of the game. Anytime a player colors one of the 2 sides of these squares that show these gifts, you will get a gift. So you can get a gift twice by coloring both sides of these different squares that are all over the board. Once the dice are rolled and or re-rolled, you can spend as many gifts as you want to re-roll. Then you're going to determine which die you want. So you're going to rotate this to face you as to which die. So maybe I want the yellow die, so I'll rotate it this way. The person across from me is going to get the white one. This person over here to my right is going to get the white, and the person to my left is going to get the green. Each person is going to take their sheet, and then on their sheet, so what did I get? Yellow. So I might decide that I'm going to color in this yellow here, which, hey, gives me another gift right there. Now, since it's my turn, I also have a bonus. In this case, it's a red bonus. So maybe I'll decide to color in this one right here, this red bonus. Now, coloring in one next to a square doesn't do anything right away, but if you ever finish both of these, you then get 1 free in one of the adjacents. So I might say, I'll take this red one down here, which once again gives me a gift. Now, players can spend gifts to do other things. Like, for example, I can shade an extra area that matches my die by paying 1 gift. Or shade an area of a color not shown on the dice for 2 gifts. So here, for example, there's no red, there's no blue, there's no purple. I could color in one of those for 2 gifts. Or shade areas matching each of the 3 other dice. So if I spend 3 gifts, I can color in a yellow, a green, and 2 whites on my board. Now, at the end of your turn, if you've shaded in something, so you see I've almost done here. If I shade in this spot right here, this is a complete shape that matches one of the fireworks. I'll take the top one and place it on here, covering those up. And at the end of the game, that is going to be worth points. So that's what players are going to do. They're going to roll, possibly re-roll, orient this, spend Emperor's gifts perhaps, fill those in, filling in their bonus that they have, whatever turn it is, and you'll mark it off as you do each one. And then turn goes to the next player. When everything is filled in, then the game is going to end. At that point, players are going to score points for all the different fireworks that they have face up on their board. They're also going to score for their second biggest group. So as you put out these on the board, they're going to form groups. You can see here, for example, there's a group of completely filled in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on this board on here. And then there's another group over here that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's their second biggest group, so they get 8 points. 8 points. Then you also, if you completely surround a boat without coloring it in, you will also get 4 points for each boat that you do. Boats don't give you bonuses during the game, but they will give you scoring after the game. You add those 3 numbers together, and that's your final score. The fireworks shapes are really nice. I mean, I like fireworks anyway. They look, they're easy to see. They're just colorful. And the board itself is colorful. And not only are there different colors for these various shapes, but they're also slightly shaped differently so that if you're colorblind, you can still kind of figure out what's where. And there's plenty of sheets in there, of course. As with all of these type of games, I will laminate some to do that. There's 3 of these Emperor gift cards. It's cool. You can flip them and mix and match them. I was kind of surprised that there wasn't more, but I guess it doesn't really matter that much. So you have different options that you can do. Maybe instead of shading one area of a color not on the dice, I want to shade one area that completes a pool completely. The dice are fine. They're good quality dice. But, and this is the one slight negative for the components for this game, this bowl itself. So if I roll the dice in like this, almost always a die comes out. And I'm not trying to roll them in poorly. And here it's not so bad. You just shake them around, I guess it comes in. But you have to be really careful to kind of gently drop them in. Because if you throw them in at all, I would say in all the games I've played, dice are constantly falling out of this. We don't know a way to fix it, because you do want them to come here to the middle and make this 4 thing without it being a gigantic bowl to fit in the box. But just be aware of that. The box itself is also kind of weird because it has a spot for your dice here. And then, I guess you could stack all the tiles in here, but they don't really all fit in there. So, you're going to have to scatter some in this area too. But either way, I'm still pretty happy with the components. Landers Dice is a pretty simple game, although it's one of those games where there's a few rules that you have to teach people. Like, on your turn, you pick a die, you color in the shape of that kind. Got it. Everyone understands that. Also, on your turn, you get a bonus color. Oh, okay. And people have to kind of remember that one. And that's where you'll differentiate. You can't just copy what other people do because you have different bonuses colors, and that's nice. It scales well, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, because of the way the game is set up, this is a roll and write that will not go higher than 4 if you're looking for that. But it works well in this situation. It's nice that the tiles completely cover the things as you're coloring them in, and so that works really well. The ships are kind of a weird thing for me, or the boats, because you are trying not to color them in, but sometimes you want to color them in because of the Tetris shape. Also, the way the scoring works, where you want to have an interconnected group of blocks, that's a big color. And by the way, the firework pieces that cover those count as your blocks if they're out there. That's fine. But in one game I was playing, I almost connected my groups because, and I was just trying to get shapes and stuff. But if I connected them, I had one big group, and my second biggest group would have been 1. So it's pretty simple. You're trying to get shapes, big secondary group, and surround the boats. And there's various ways to do that. I'm curious as to why there isn't maybe a second set as you go through of the colors in different places, but no matter. This is a perfectly fine game. Really enjoyed it playing it. I like the idea of filling things in. It felt at the beginning like, oh man, I don't know if we're going to be able to get these all done. But if you use your gifts, and you should, there's no point to not using them. And it feels really good when you do, especially when you use that 1, 3, use the other 3 colors, and you color in 4 things in one turn. That just feels cool. But if you use your gifts, you will be able to fill it up mostly. You saw that example score sheet I showed you. A good chunk of it is filled in, and that felt, again, satisfying. Where does this stand in the pantheon of roll and write games? Well, probably somewhere in the middle. This one's advantages are, it's that rolling the dice and rotating it. That's a neat mechanism. It looks pretty, super pretty. And if you like that Tetris-y shape style thing, there's a little bit of that in here. So there you go. Lanterns Dice, a perfectly reasonable, fun game from Renegade Games. Dice Tower Judgment approved.